Get ready to dream. Close your eyes, the story is about to begin. In a distant time, in ancient Ireland, there was a village surrounded by mysteries and Celtic traditions called Lough Rey. Among its inhabitants, the deserted street was a living legend. This street, little traveled and almost forgotten, was shrouded in an aura of mystery and enchantment. The deserted street wound its way through the village, disappearing into a dense forest where the wind seemed to whisper ancient secrets. Celtic culture was rich in myths and legends, and one of the most feared and respected beings was the Banshee. Banshees were female spirits who foretold death with their sad and haunting wails. It was said that their appearances and nighttime cries meant that someone would soon leave the world of the living. Many avoided the deserted street at night, fearing to encounter the Banshee that supposedly haunted the area. The village of Lough Rey, where the deserted street was located, was a place of stunning natural beauty. The Irish landscapes, with their rolling green hills, serene lakes, and ancient forests, formed a perfect backdrop for Celtic legends. The air was always fresh and damp, carrying the scent of the earth and vegetation, creating an enchanting and somewhat melancholic atmosphere. As night fell, silence took over the deserted street. The few houses along the street closed their windows and doors, as if trying to protect themselves from whatever roamed outside. The elders told stories of encounters with the Banshee, describing her as a pale and ethereal figure with long, disheveled hair, eyes that gleamed with deep sadness, and a voice that could chill the soul. The deserted street, with its ancient stones and moss growing between the cracks, was a testament to the passage of time and the many stories that had unfolded there. Each stone seemed to hold a secret, each tree seemed to whisper ancient songs of times long past. And it is in this setting that our story begins, bringing with it the fascination and mystery of the Celtic world. The deserted street, despite its gloomy atmosphere, had its own beauty. The ancient trees with twisted branches cast dancing shadows under the moonlight. The soft sound of a stream cutting through the surrounding forest added a melodic touch to the silence. Wildflowers grew among the stones, their vibrant colors contrasting with the melancholic environment. Celtic traditions were deeply rooted in the hearts of Lough Rey's inhabitants. Seasonal festivals celebrated the connection between the world of the living and the spirits. Samhain, one of the most important celebrations, marked the beginning of winter and the time when the veil between the worlds was thinnest. It was common to hear stories of encounters with spirits and mystical beings during this time. Celtic mythology also spoke of gods and goddesses who protected the land and guided mortals. Morrigan, the goddess of war and death, was often associated with banshees. It was said that she appeared as a crow or a beautiful and deadly woman. Her presence was both a harbinger of death and a protection for warriors. While the people of Lough Rey respected and feared these stories, they also found comfort in them. The legends conveyed wisdom and teachings passed down from generation to generation, keeping alive the connection with their ancestors and beliefs. And it was in this rich environment of history and mysticism that the legend of the deserted street Banshee unfolded, waiting to be discovered and understood. On the outskirts of the deserted street lived Finn O'Sullivan, a young musician whose fame as a skilled harpist spread throughout Lough Rey. Finn was a striking man, with dark, wavy hair, bright green eyes, and a smile that once charmed everyone. He had inherited his musical talent from his mother, a talented singer, and his love of music from his father, a respected harpist. But recently, Finn faced a creative crisis. His inspiration seemed to have disappeared, leaving him with heavy fingers and lifeless melodies. The harp, which once resonated with songs of joy and sorrow, now emitted dissonant and dull sounds. Frustration consumed him, and his once vibrant soul was now overshadowed by doubt and despair. Finn lived alone in a small stone cottage, surrounded by a wild garden blooming with medicinal herbs and wildflowers. The cottage, though modest, was cozy, with a fireplace always burning and the comforting aroma of herbal tea. The neighbors of Lough Rey sympathized with Finn, remembering the nights when his music filled the village with joy and hope. However, Finn had isolated himself, fearing that his lack of creativity was permanent. He spent days and nights trying to compose new songs, but the muse seemed to have abandoned him. One night, desperate, he decided to walk down the deserted street, seeking some form of inspiration in the silence of the night and the ancient stories that surrounded it. Finn had a complex personality. He was kind and compassionate, always willing to help his neighbors with small tasks or play a song to brighten someone's day. But this creative crisis had deeply affected his self-esteem. He felt incomplete without the music that once flowed so easily from his fingers. Despite his difficulties, Finn held onto a stubborn hope that he would find a solution. He often recalled the stories his grandmother told about encounters with mystical beings in the forest. Perhaps, he thought, he could find some inspiration in the supernatural, something that could rekindle the flame of his creativity. On one of those sleepless nights, as the wind howled outside, Finn decided to explore the surroundings of Luray. He grabbed his old woolen cloak, a gift from his mother, and stepped out the door, feeling the cold night air brush against his face. The stars shone brightly in the sky, and the full moon cast a silver glow over the landscape. He followed the deserted street, feeling his heart race with each step. There was something in the air, a sense that this night would be different. The silence was deep, interrupted only by the sound of his own footsteps and the wind in the trees. Finn walked with determination, ready to face whatever awaited him. On a full moon night, while walking down the deserted street, Finn heard a sound he never imagined he would find so close to his home. It was a soft wail, almost imperceptible, that seemed to float in the night air. His curiosity led him to follow the sound, his footsteps echoing on the deserted street. The closer he got, the more he felt a strange mix of fear and fascination. The wail led him to an old oak tree at the end of the street, where the moonlight shone through the leaves, creating an ethereal halo of light. Under the tree, he saw a pale and ethereal figure. It was the Banshee, her eyes glowing with infinite sadness. Finn, despite his fear, felt a strange connection with this creature. He knew he needed help, but he didn't know how. Determined to face his fears and uncover the mystery surrounding the Banshee, Finn returned to his cottage and grabbed his harp. He felt that his music, even with all its flaws, could somehow touch the soul of the Banshee. He returned to the old oak tree and with trembling hands, began to play. The notes came out hesitant, but gradually, a soft melody began to fill the air. The Banshee, initially distant, slowly approached, as if drawn to Finn's music. Her sad eyes met his, and for a moment, the world seemed to stop. Finn continued to play, feeling a new wave of inspiration and strength. The music seemed to flow from his heart, connecting directly with the Banshee's soul. As he played, Finn realized that the Banshee was not just a spirit of sorrow, but a lost soul, trapped between two worlds. He felt deep compassion for her and, without stopping his playing, began to murmur words of comfort and hope. The Banshee, in turn, began to respond to the music, her wails transforming into a melancholic but beautiful song. The night wore on, and Finn played tirelessly. His music, which once seemed dead, was now alive and vibrant. He felt the connection with the Banshee grow stronger with each note, as if he were unraveling an ancient secret. The moonlight illuminated the scene, creating a spectacle of dancing shadows around them. At one point, Finn felt a different presence around him. He looked around and noticed small lights glowing among the trees. They were fairies, drawn by the magical melody he and the Banshee were creating together. The fairies approached, forming a circle around the old oak tree, their lights flickering in harmony with the music. The fairies began to sing in unison, their ethereal voices blending with Finn's harp and the Banshee's song. The combination of these voices created a symphony that seemed to echo throughout the forest, touching the heart of every living being. Finn felt a deep peace take hold of him, as if he were in perfect communion with the universe. With the help of the fairies, Finn's music became even more powerful. He felt that he was not only helping the Banshee but also purifying the very environment around him. The feeling of fear and despair that once consumed him was replaced by an unwavering courage and renewed determination. The music continued for hours until finally, the Banshee stopped singing and looked deeply into Finn's eyes. She seemed grateful, her eyes glowing with a new light. With one final chord, Finn ended the song, letting the silence fill the space between them. The banshee approached him, gently touching his hand, and murmured a thank you before disappearing into the mist. Finn stood there for a moment, taking a deep breath and feeling the energy around him. The fairies began to disappear one by one, leaving only a soft glow in the air. He knew that something important had happened that night, something that would change his life forever. With a calm smile, he returned to his cottage, feeling stronger and more inspired than ever. The next morning, Finn woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. He knew that the journey was only just beginning and that he would need to face many challenges ahead. He decided to return to the old oak tree that night, hoping to find more answers and perhaps new inspirations for his music. During the day, he spent hours practicing with his harp, trying to recreate the magical melody of the previous night. When night finally fell, Finn felt a mix of excitement and apprehension. He walked down the deserted street with determined steps, his harp on his back and a clear resolve in his heart. Upon reaching the old oak tree, he sat down again and began to play, hoping that the banshee or other magical entities would appear. However, something was different that night. The air was heavy, and Finn felt a dark presence around him. Suddenly, a dense shadow emerged from the trees, moving toward him with frightening speed. Finn stopped playing and stood up, his heart pounding in his chest. The malevolent entity he had sensed the night before was back, more powerful and determined to destroy him. Finn knew that his music was his only defense, so he began to play again, his hands trembling but resolute. The notes came out hesitant, but he forced himself to continue, searching for the inner strength he knew he possessed. As Finn's music resonated through the air, the dark entity hesitated for a moment but quickly advanced. Finn felt an overwhelming fear take hold of him, his hands sweating and the harp slipping. He closed his eyes for a moment, remembering his grandmother's words about the strength of music and a pure heart. With renewed courage, Finn took a deep breath and began to play a different melody, one that spoke of strength and resilience. The notes came up clear and strong, cutting through the heavy air like a blade. The malevolent entity hesitated, retreating slightly, but still determined to dominate. The battle between Finn's music and the dark entity continued, each note a struggle against fear and darkness. Finn felt his body weaken, but his determination grew. He knew that music was his only weapon and that he had to use it with all his soul. The banshee, watching the fight, began to sing along, her voice joining Finn's harp. The combination of Finn's music and the banshee's song created a powerful harmony that began to drive the entity away. The dense shadow began to dissipate, its glowing eyes losing their shine. With one final effort, Finn played a final melody, one that resonated with all the hope and love he possessed. The malevolent entity disappeared, leaving behind only the silence of the night and Finn's heavy breathing. The banshee approached him, her eyes now full of gratitude and relief. Finn felt a deep peace take hold of him, knowing that he had managed to help the banshee and, in a way, himself. With the threat gone, the banshee began to transform. Her dark and painful figure gave way to an ethereal woman of serene and sad beauty. She revealed herself as Aisling, an ancient princess who had been lost between worlds due to a malevolent spell. Grateful, Aisling offered Finn an amulet, a symbol of gratitude and a means of protection against future adversities. Finn and Aisling formed an alliance, their souls connected by music and magic. Together, they began to explore the mysteries of the deserted street and the surrounding forest, uncovering ancient secrets and helping other lost souls find peace. As they walked together, Finn and Aisling encountered various magical beings typical of Celtic mythology. There were fairies glowing like tiny beacons in the darkness, wise druids guarding the secrets of the forests, and even the god Lugh, who appeared to offer his blessings. Lugh, the Celtic god of skill and the arts, was impressed with Finn's courage and Aisling's transformation. With a serene smile, Lugh approached Finn and, with a gentle gesture, touched the harp. Immediately, the instrument glowed with a golden light, and soft melodies began to flow from the strings. Lugh spoke to Finn, revealing that the banshee was a lost soul trapped between worlds and that only pure and true music could help her find peace. Inspired by Lugh's words, Finn felt a renewal in his spirit. He knew that this was his mission, to bring peace to the Banshee and, in doing so, find his own redemption. The encounters with magical beings didn't stop there. One night, while exploring a moonlit clearing, Finn and Aisling encountered a troop of Sidhi, the Elves of the Hills. They danced in a circle, their flowing garments glowing in the moonlight. The Sidhi greeted Finn and Aisling with reverence, recognizing the power of the music that united them. One of the Sidhi, a golden-haired elf named Niev, approached Finn and offered him a luminous crystal. This crystal, she said, contains the essence of ancient music. Use it wisely, and it will show you the way in times of darkness. Finn accepted the gift with gratitude, feeling the vibrant power of the crystal in his hands. Finn and Aisling's journey continued to reveal hidden mysteries and beauties. Each encounter with magical beings enriched their lives and strengthened their mission. They learned about ancient traditions, healing rituals, and the deep connection between music and magic. Finn, in particular, felt more inspired than ever, his compositions now filled with deep and mystical meanings. The next night, armed with his enchanted harp and the luminous crystal, Finn returned to the deserted street. He sat under the old oak tree and began to play. The notes floated in the air, creating a melody that seemed to echo through the very fabric of the night. The Banshee appeared again, her wail blending with the music. As he played, Finn felt a dark presence approaching. It was a malevolent force, an entity that fed on the Banshee's suffering. With courage, Finn continued to play, his melodies growing in intensity, forming a barrier of sound against the darkness. The battle was intense, but Finn, with the power of music and Lufa's blessing, managed to repel the entity. With the threat gone, Finn and Aisling began to explore the secrets of the forest surrounding the deserted street. They discovered ancient stone circles, places of power where druids performed sacred rituals. In one of these circles, they found a symbol carved into a stone, pulsing with its own energy. Aisling, with her ancient knowledge, identified the symbol as a portal to the otherworld, the realm of gods and spirits. They decided to activate the portal with Finn's music and the luminous crystal. When Finn played the harp, the portal began to glow intensely, revealing a passage to a world beyond mortal comprehension. The journey through the portal was an overwhelming experience. Finn and Aisling were enveloped by a bright light and transported to a land of wonders and mysteries. There, they encountered Celtic gods and goddesses, powerful entities guarding the secrets of the universe. Each encounter was a lesson, each vision a revelation. In one of these encounters, Finn met the goddess Brigid, the guardian of poetry, healing, and metallurgy. She greeted Finn with a warm smile and offered him a special blessing. "Your music," she said, "has the power to heal and transform. Use it wisely and with compassion." Finn felt honored and deeply inspired by the goddess's words. The journey through the otherworld brought challenges and trials. Finn and Aisling faced mythical creatures, solved ancient riddles, and discovered hidden truths about themselves and the world around them. Each challenge overcome strengthened their bond and deepened their understanding of music and magic. When they finally returned to the mortal world, Finn and Aisling were changed. They now had a clear purpose and a mission to fulfill. They decided to use the knowledge and blessings they had received to bring peace and harmony to the world, helping lost souls and spreading the beauty of music wherever they went. With their mission clear in their hearts, Finn and Aisling continued their journey through Lorraine, attracting the attention of many who were willing to help them in their cause. During their travels, they encountered various people and magical beings who joined them, forming a powerful and diverse alliance. On one of their journeys, they reached a village where a group of warriors led by Conall, a brave leader known for his courage and honor, lived. Conall, upon hearing the stories of Finn and Aisling's deeds, was impressed and decided to offer his loyalty and that of his men. He knew that their cause was just and that they could use their strength to face the challenges ahead. Conall's presence and his warriors brought a new dynamic to the team. They trained together daily, sharing skills and strategies. Finn, with his inspiring music, motivated the warriors to reach their full potential, while Aisling used her magic to heal the wounded and strengthen the group. The harmony between them was palpable, and together they formed a formidable force determined to bring peace and harmony to the world. As they traveled through the Irish lands, Finn and Aisling spread their message of peace and unity. They held concerts in villages, where Finn's music touched people's hearts and brought hope. Aisling, with her ethereal presence and wisdom, inspired women and men to connect with their roots and seek harmony with nature. They knew that true strength lay in unity and that together they could face any challenge. On a particularly cold night, while resting in a sacred grove, they were visited by a group of talking animals. There was a wolf with bright eyes, a silver-feathered owl, and a majestic deer with gleaming antlers. All of them carried messages from the gods. The animals approached Finn and Aisling, communicating telepathically. "You have the favor of the gods," said the wolf. "They see your courage and determination. Continue on your mission, and divine protection will always be with you." Aisling, with tears in her eyes, thanked the animals and promised to continue fighting for peace and harmony. Finn, feeling deeply moved, played a melody of gratitude and reverence. The animals disappeared into the mist, leaving a sense of renewal and strength. The presence of the gods reinforced the certainty that they were on the right path and that their mission was sacred. During their journeys, Finn and Aisling met other magical beings and humans who joined them. There were druids, bards, and healers who shared their knowledge and skills. Each new alliance strengthened the group, bringing new perspectives and resources. They became a symbol of hope, and the news of their deeds spread quickly. One of the most memorable encounters was with a bard named Niamh, known for her enchanting songs and her ability to tell stories that touched the soul. Niamh was impressed with Finn's music and decided to join them. She brought with her a magical harp that amplified the power of Finn's melodies, creating a perfect synergy between them. Niamh became a dear friend and a valuable ally. Her songs not only inspired the group but also attracted more followers to their cause. On one of those nights of music and stories, Niamh told the legend of an ancient prophecy that spoke of a musician and a banshee who would bring peace to lost souls and restore the balance between worlds. The prophecy spoke of a sacred amulet that had the power to protect its bearers from any evil. Intrigued, Finn and Aisling decided to search for this amulet, believing that it might be the key to finally defeating the malevolent entity that threatened the lost souls. Niamh, with her vast knowledge of ancient legends, guided them to a hidden temple deep in the forest. In the temple, they found the amulet protected by a mystical guardian, a dragon named Eärendil. Eärendil tested the courage and purity of Finn and Aisling, subjecting them to various trials. Finn used his music to calm the dragon and show his true intentions, while Aisling used her magic to heal old wounds and show compassion. Impressed, Eärendil granted them the amulet, warning them of the great power and responsibility it carried. With the amulet in hand and a powerful alliance by their side, Finn and Aisling felt ready to face any challenge. They knew that the journey was far from over, but the determination in their hearts and the strength of their alliances gave them confidence. Together, they would continue to fight for peace, spreading hope and inspiration wherever they went. Finn and Aisling's journey led them to an ancient Celtic sanctuary, where they discovered the origin of the spell that trapped souls between worlds. The sanctuary, hidden deep in an ancestral forest, was shrouded in a dark and mysterious aura. At the heart of the sanctuary, they found an ancient inscription that spoke of the malevolent entity and the power of the amulet they possessed. Upon activating the amulet, a secret passage opened, revealing an underground chamber. Inside, they found the malevolent entity, a dark and amorphous figure radiating an energy of pure hatred and despair. Finn and Aisling knew that this would be the final confrontation, the decisive moment to free all the trapped souls and bring peace to the world. The battle began with Finn playing his enchanted harp, his melodies cutting through the heavy and dark air of the chamber. Aisling, with her amulet glowing intensely, invoked the protection of the gods and used her magic to create barriers of light around them. The malevolent entity attacked with overwhelming force, trying to break through Finn and Aisling's defenses. Conall and his warriors, who had accompanied them to the sanctuary, fought bravely against the entity's dark servants. Swords gleamed under the magical light, and the sounds of battle echoed through the chamber. Niamh, with her magical harp, played songs of courage and resilience, strengthening the warriors' hearts and keeping the fighting spirit alive. Finn focused on playing a powerful melody, one he had learned from the goddess Bridget. The notes resonated with pure and healing energy, penetrating the darkness and weakening the entity. Aisling, by his side, channeled the energy of the amulet, creating beams of light that struck the entity directly, causing it great pain. The battle continued intensely, with the malevolent entity fighting desperately to maintain its hold. Finn and Aisling, exhausted but determined, did not back down. They knew that the only way to win was to keep playing and channeling all their energy and love for music and magic. In a critical moment, the entity managed to break through one of the light barriers and launched a direct attack on Finn. Aisling, in an act of pure courage and sacrifice, threw herself in front of Finn, using the amulet to absorb the impact. The shock was tremendous, and Aisling fell to the ground, visibly weakened. Seeing Aisling in danger, Finn played one last melody, one that contained all his essence, love, and gratitude for her. The music resonated throughout the chamber, growing in intensity and strength. Aisling's amulet began to glow intensely, emitting a blinding light that enveloped the malevolent entity. The purifying light of the amulet and Finn's powerful melody finally destroyed the entity, which disintegrated into a black mist that vanished into the darkness. With the entity destroyed, all the trapped souls were freed, including Aisling herself, who began to transform. Aisling, now free from the spell that had trapped her, revealed herself in her true form, an ethereal figure of serene and radiant beauty. She looked at Finn with gratitude and love, thanking him for everything he had done. Finn, with tears in his eyes, felt a deep peace take hold of him, knowing that he had fulfilled his mission and helped Aisling find peace. With the mission accomplished, Finn returned to his cottage on the deserted street. His heart was light, and his mind was filled with new melodies and inspirations. The music flowed from his fingers like never before, and he knew that, through his journey, he had found not only peace for Aisling but also redemption for himself. As the moon shone in the sky, Finn played his harp, the notes echoing through the quiet night. He knew that Aisling was at peace and that, through his music, he would continue to honor the ancient Celtic traditions, bringing comfort and magic to all who heard his melodies. The people of La Rae, upon hearing the stories about Finn and Aisling, felt inspired and renewed. The deserted street, once feared, became a symbol of hope and transformation. People returned to celebrate the Celtic traditions with greater fervor, honoring the gods and spirits with gratitude and respect. Finn became a legendary figure, known not only for his musical talent but also for his courage and determination. He continued to travel, bringing his music to distant places and touching the hearts of everyone he met. The magical harp and amulet, now symbols of his journey, accompanied him on all his adventures. In time, Finn found new allies and faced new challenges, always guided by his love for music and magic. He never forgot Aisling and the mission that united them, carrying her memory as an eternal flame that lit his path. And so, the legend of Finn and Aisling endured, told and retold for generations. Their story became an inspiration for all who sought courage, hope, and the strength to face darkness with light and love. Finn, the brave musician, and Aisling, the redeemed banshee, lived forever in the hearts and songs of the Celtic people, a testament to the power of music and magic in the pursuit of peace and harmony. Good night and enchanted dreams.